Do you have any cool rememberings of being on the X-Files?
I've been dead, but I remember everything I did. Yeah, it wasn't a series at the time. It hadn't even been picked up as a series.
Yeah, I know it was one of the early episodes.
Yeah, it was actually filmed as 11 when I was 12. So yeah, I made a lot of money on that because we went over and everything. It just took so long to do. There's no CGI in that entire episode. That's all fire. That's me at the end of the hallway. And if you look really closely, you can see me duck down at the end of the show because there's a backdraft coming on. It's terrifying. I was on fire. Kind of fun. I still have the jacket. Bedtime jacket. It's a lot of fun to do. Great series. Still get residuals on it. 1993, yeah. Good God, it's crazy. It's popular around the world. Good. You're welcome. Hey,
Your Majesty.
it's a little better.
Actually, I have a question about your time on Doctor Who. Whenever you were doing the two-parter with everyone, did you get to do like offset hangouts with Matt and Karen and all? Like, did you like chill when you weren't shooting? Like, how long were you shooting those episodes for?
It's a lot of questions.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just I've been thinking about meeting you for like
No,
15 years.
I appreciate it. I was just having fun with you, but it was an extraordinary experience. I was shooting episode 12 of a Supernatural season, which I can't remember, whichever one it was. I can't remember what season it was, but it was in episode 12. The trouble with episode 12 is that's the fastest turnaround. It's the last episode before the mid-season break. So you've only got about 12 or 14 days before it airs. Normally you can have months to prep something. So it's not an effects-heavy episode, it's a talk-heavy episode. And they featured huge in it. And I got a phone call saying, would you like to do Doctor Who? And I went, yeah. And I called Jim Michaels and he goes, I can't let you go. I've got to flip this episode. I can't give you those days. So I was like, I can't do this, guys. And so one of the heads from Doctor Who from BBC went, are you doing anything now? I mean, like, what do you mean now? And he said, like, tomorrow. And I went, no. He said, why don't you come over, we'll flip the schedule. So they worked out how to flip the schedule. And I went, great. But I hadn't asked permission from Warner Brothers at the time. So I got a phone call from Johnny Mack, no longer with us, wonderful first AD, and he goes, please tell me you're not on a plane. And I'm like, no, but I was going to. He's like, you can't. He goes, what if you don't get back? We're screwed. So I called Sarah Gamble, and I was like, so it must have been season 6 or 7. So I was like, I think I screwed up. She goes, what'd you do? I told her. She goes, I'll call you back in an hour. 2.5 hours later, I get a phone call, and it's from Johnny Mack going, all right, get on the plane. If you're late, I'm going to kill you. So I genuinely flew backwards and forwards 4 times to shoot both at the same time. I literally got off a plane, I finished work, got to the airport, got on a plane, got out the other end, get in a car, drove to set, worked on her. Finished up there a couple of days, turned around, got on a plane, came back to Vancouver and shot. Did that both.
Just sleeping on your flights between.
Yeah, that's what we do. But so when they called me, they said, when are you going to do the prosthetics fitting? I went, for what? I said, well, the old you. I said, well, just ask my dad to do it. They're like, would he do it? I'm like, of course he would. I didn't ask him. I called him, he down the road, he lived down the road from me. And I said, like, so you're doing Doctor Who? He goes, oh God, is it all? It's a string and cardboard scenery. I'm like, no, it's fabulous. He goes, what's it like? And I went, okay, hold on. So I went around, I took him everything from fish fingers and custard forwards, right? And he was watching Mac, he was going, oh, this boy is amazing. And he fell in love with it instantly. And so the trouble is they were filming his stuff in Utah. So we were in Lake Powell. And a BBC production in England is huge. A BBC production shooting in Utah is non-union, tiny, low-budget stuff, like with no craft service, and it's like, because they're just amazed you can go to a foreign country and work. So my dad had to ask the union for dispensation to go work as a non-union thing. They're like, hello, Morgan here. I'm going to do this Doctor Who thing. So what you want is a waiver. Really? Is that what I want? Yes, Morgan, you want a waiver. Okay, I want a waiver. So you got a waiver, and he did it. And he loved it. He absolutely enjoyed it wonderfully. So that was the biggest 2 episodes Who had ever shot. Helicopters and all sorts of crazy stuff. And they were wonderful. And Matt and everybody else are just like the loveliest people. I worked my arse off on that. It was fun.
Do you ever like want to return to the series at all?
I never got asked. Stephen left at some point, you know.
Yeah.
I was going to do Sherlock, and the character I wanted to play, which both Gatiss and Moffat knew I wanted to play, got taken by the movie, the second Downey movie. It's like, we're not going to touch it. I'm like, eh. But they knew I wanted to do it, and I would have been playing Sebastian Moran. But that's, we'll see. Things happen, they don't. Whatever.
Thank you so much.
Oh, pleasure. Hey, you. You're Ruth-sized.
The second season, my apologies, 5th season of Supernatural, so I'm nowhere near the early season, so
There you
I'm
are.
sorry if this question
That's the 5th season. Hold on.
Hold
Shh. Hold on. Pause. You're on the 5th season of Supernatural? Yes, I'm in that season.
Then I'm not at the episode that you are.
Episode? I start appearing in episode 10, Abandon All Hope. And it's a hell of an entrance.
Noted.
Kissing a man called L. Harvey Gold under a crossroads. Very interesting use of a crossroads. It's actually one of the cleverest crossroads you'll ever see. And the kiss is extraordinarily funny. And I'll tell you now, when you get to watch it, you'll get the giggles. He fought me every step of the way. A miserable bastard. So, you don't know who I am.
Not really.
Have you ever watched television any time in your life?
No,
How
I've
old are
lived
you?
in a home.
How old are you? Well, we're in Altoona. Don't be mean about Altoona.
Anyway, my question is, what's your favorite story from any on-set thing?
Not telling you.
Yeah, fair.
Do you know we have something rather magical with those 15 years, is that we have tons of outtakes. And if you're really, really clever, you'll pull up something called Nerd HQ, which is Zachary Levi ostensibly interviewing Jared. And we crash his panel, and that's when he asked us to. And that's after a whole weekend of working at San Diego Comic-Con and doing all the press for the year and all the stuff I do with it. Would be me and Misha for a day and a half doing a year's worth of press and photo shoots and everything. And that's what those silly photographs are, the piggyback photographs and stuff. We're bored out of our minds. Then the boys are breezing into it, and then we go Sunday morning and do Hall H, and we finished Hall H, and then we go across to the baseball stadium, across the street. See who that is? It's my front door. You never know, hey, my wife could be an emergency, that's why I left the phone on, gotta know, just in case. Driving my bloody car. And the Nerd HQ thing, you'll see, Jensen put it this way, he said, you'll see when the 4 of us became the 4 of us. 10 minutes of those bastards doing pirate impressions of me.
That sounds like a certain type of torture.
Oh, you'll see. Go watch that, you'll be like, okay, I get it. And when you see what we play and how we play, it'll make a lot more sense of what we do when we work. Hiya.
Hi. Now that Supernatural is celebrating its 20th anniversary next November, which I only know because I'm the same age as, what was your key favorite moment from on set?
Told you. End of season 8. Well, were you disappointed in that answer? Don't be disappointed, it was magical. There is a lovely, at the end of season 9 when you get Demon Dean, my only direction in that scene from Tom Wright was, I see you in the doorway in silhouette at the opening. The rest of it's up to you. And of course, Dean's on the bed, right? Now, it's the end of the season. We have finished shooting. This is the last shot of the year. So they may or may not have been imbibing in whiskey, because all he's got to do is lie on a bed. So they might have been polished off a bottle of whiskey between them and everyone's partying and having fun while I've got to do this 6-page speech. He's just lying in the bed. And a few times he popped up in the middle of my speech just to scare the crap out of me. But that was fun, and I was trying to find where I wanted to be when I was giving that speech. And the chair was really interesting because the chair had 2 arms. I tried sitting on that little couch that was opposite, it didn't quite work. Tom said, well, what do you think? And I said, I'm going to be in this chair. And as soon as I sat in the chair, I kept thinking of the Lincoln Memorial. And because it's a speech about I never lied. And I was like, wow, this is really kind of in the Honest Abe pitch of stuff. And it became really, really weird as a result of that. So, you know, poor bastard, off his tits, laying in the bed, and then, you know, that moment of opening the eyes, which is like, holy crap. So we were doing the DVDs of that, right? So the DVDs come out later, obviously, once the season's gone for a while, the DVDs get done. And I told Warner Brothers, I said, have you seen the reaction videos? Have you actually seen the reaction videos for the end of season 9? They're like, no. I said, there was all these viewing parties with loads of night shift cameras, and the screaming, they put the camera on the audience as they're watching the end of the episode with eyes open like this. So I was like, God, pull him. And they got all the permission to put them on. They put them on the DVDs as the extras. It was like absolutely amazing. I said, it's the best description of what the Supernatural family does with what we give them. So viewing parties that scared the absolute crap out of it. I think it's the best jump scare in the whole thing. I just wish they carried it on a little longer. I think that the network got nervous after about 3 episodes that Dean would somehow be irredeemable or not our hero. And I was like, he would have been so much cooler if he'd have gone the whole season. It's the same thing with the stuff with Ruth, which is really weird for me. It's like, I think Ruth's brilliant. I think she played Rowena absolutely amazing, but it's never made sense to me that she could be Crowley's mother. It just doesn't make any sense. She's Fergus's mother, she's not Crowley's mother. And I think that's a massive waste of time. I think what she should have been is Crowley's ex-wife. Well, that would have been absolutely terrifying and would have ran for about 10 years. It would have been a really interesting way to do it, and that would have made the kid a different thing. It would have made all sorts of things a different thing. But she was so committed to it, she was so good at it. And while I was ostensibly going, you know, okay, yeah, I know, you've got to bring Mary back and it's all about mothers and stuff, but it's a very boyish view of the overview of what happens. I mean, the nuances of how everybody played it is fantastic. That's not the point. The acting was fantastic, and the nitty-gritty of the writing, but the overview of it being, you know, the whole mummy fixation thing. I was like, so I had to play it as, well, everybody else has a mother, why don't I? Because Crowley doesn't have a mother. Crowley's a New York English publisher. So it has no real, maybe the ghost of Fergus is somewhere in him, but it's so not a 4'7" Scottish crofter with ginger hair who sold for 3 inches of extra penis. Which doesn't make any, so you know, little girls coming together. I'm like, I'm not Fergus, I'm Crowley. You know what I mean? It messes with the canon as far as I'm concerned. I never thought it was a good idea. But she played the shit out of it. She made it work. And I thought the least I can do is try to make it work with her, you know? And she's so fantastic at that. But if you went back and if I could change anything, I would change that she'd actually be my ex-wife. Because that would have been such a great, we almost had that dynamic anyway. Because it wasn't like creepy mummy stuff. It was like one step removed. Am I boring you? Your anxiety? You okay? By the way, you did brilliantly. And it was a really good question. Hey, you.
What inspired you to be an actor?
I don't know, the telling of stories. I'm a musician. I'm an actor, I'm in a lot of things, and I'm good at what I do. It's not like something I did a bit of or told somebody I could do. It's something I love doing, I really love doing. And it doesn't seem to matter whether it's music or poetry or film or it doesn't matter. The chance to tell a story, the chance to perform something. Passion is everything. If you don't care, it's worthless. I mean, you're in marching band. What do you play?
Percussion.
What do you play?
Huh?
What do you play?
Snare drum.
You play snare? See, most of my favorite drummers that are American all did that. So like Travis, everybody else, they're all marching band guys. So many guys I know, especially in hip hop and urban community, all started out marching band. It's a wonderful thing, but just learning how to play, Swiss flams and paradiddles, okay, it's good. It's really useful if you want to make music. My oldest son is a record producer. He's 24 years old. He produced Miley Cyrus's last record. He got 2 Grammy Award nominations for Best Album, Best Pop Album on his first record. He loves music. He doesn't listen to music to play other people's music. He didn't learn an instrument to play other people's stuff. He learned so he could express himself. And if you find something that you like expressing yourself, and that's what you like to do, it doesn't matter what it is. That's the most incredible thing in the world. Remember, there's 2 types of jobs in life, right? There's the job you do so you can do the stuff you want to do. And there's the job you love. And if you can find the job you love, oh my word, it is outrageous how much fun it is. How old are you? 12. You've got the whole world ahead of you. You've got the whole, if you can find the passion, if you can find the thing that makes you scream, shout, jump, cry, whatever, not a boy. I'm serious. If you can find the thing that just makes you go, yeah, this is what I care about. Stuff that scares you, doesn't matter. But if I did something, I just did something. You find that, it's magic. It changes your life. So pursue it, and you can't always make a living out of that. So sometimes you just got to get really good grades and really good stuff so that you can do that when you want to. Being a professional is something you get paid for it. That's just a privilege, that's luck and a lot of other things. But find something you love, because that's everything. Right? Deal?
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
Welcome. That's the best question I've had in a really long time. By the way, you didn't sell your soul to Crowley. I checked, you don't have a soul.
Alright, fair enough.
You sold it for something else. What can I do for you?
I was just wondering what your favorite moments were filming with Jim Beaver, as I love the dynamic.
Oh, yeah, the kiss thing is the thing that you want to talk about.
Not really, I just want to know what
You know I have that on my phone, right? I have the originals
Yeah,
on my
I
phone. Look, you that's on season 5 episode, not my episode, put your fingers in your ears for a second. So I kissed a guy on set, and it's a story and it's funny, and that's my introduction to it. So they told Jim this was going to be a component of one of the episodes. And the joke is, it's not me kissing him that you see, it's the photograph of me having kissed him that you see, right? So Jim's like, hey, he's been to Vietnam, he's done the things in his life, and he's written plays, and he's a fantastic actor, and he's whatever, and now he's got to kiss Mark Shepard. So intellectually, it's no problem for him. I've just noticed you're dressed rather well back there, sir. So directly behind the worst dressed person in the room is one of the best dressed people in the room. I love that. Stand up, give me a 12. Oh yeah, see, that's class. You could learn something from that young lady.
Yeah.
Just so you know, right? What was I talking about? Oh, Jim, yeah. So he knew intellectually what was going to happen, and they tortured him. They absolutely tortured. I wish there was. We rolled 4 cameras on that. My iPhone, everybody else's iPhones. He was kissing me for 5.5 minutes. It felt like 2 hours. He's got lovely soft lips. He's like kissing a piece of paper, for God's sake. It's not that exciting. But just the torture they were putting him through to do it was the most fun I think we had in a long time. And it's a great gag, and it's so Jared. to find the one flaw in somebody's statement about 30 seconds later. Hold on a second, you kissing? Like it's a non sequitur. No! It's like, I love that piece. That was a very clever thing. Oh, we killed it. We absolutely. So yeah, I've done all this, I've been in Vietnam and all this stuff. All I'm going to remember for was kissing Mark. Shut up. I'm going to have to start selling that photo. Corey was telling me, he's like, he gets so pissed off at it. He's so happy with it. Yeah, pleasure. Next time you see him, give him a kiss from me. Hey, you.
What do you like being?
That's okay. Don't move him around. He's doing fine. Do whatever you want to do. What do you want to do?
like being more? What do you like being in more? Supernatural or Doctor Who?
It's an interesting question.
He just started watching Doctor Who.
Who is amazing? Who is like special and different? Supernatural is special and different. I've been so lucky in my life. I've played characters in lots of shows that people love. And that's the most magical thing, is I've been lucky enough to tell stories as different characters and had millions of people all over the world going, that's my favorite show, or that's my favorite show. I enjoyed them both for different reasons. Supernatural was nearly a decade of my life. You know, I knew the boys before they had kids, before they were married. You know, I had certainly one less kid. I met my wife through Supernatural. I mean, it's a big deal. My life is different because of Supernatural. I love that. But Who was magic. I worked with my father. I got to work with my daddy on that, which is kind of magical. He's no longer around. So yeah, what do you like best?
Since I don't think I really watch Supernatural, Doctor Who.
Sure. Well, you know, the people that make Doctor Who would be so proud of the fact that you like it, because that you're who they're making it for, genuinely. Because we all, who here are Whovians or Who fans? Right. Every one of you didn't start watching it as adults, did you? You started watching it as kids. And it has a special thing for kids because it's smart, it's clever, it questions things that you don't get to question. You're probably a pretty smart kid. And that, it's called behind the sofa television, because you're hiding behind the sofa. Stephen Moffat is so crazy, right, that he saw a crack in his son's bedroom wall and went, what if that's a crack in the fabric of space and time? And you get a season of insanity out of that. So it's called, what's your favorite baddie in Doctor Who? Who scares the hell out of you? Weeping Angels?
I don't really know any.
Have you seen the Weeping Angels? You won't sleep. You seen which? The Silence is mine. Pretty scary. Weeping Angels, you won't sleep for 3 days. If you do, make sure you watch it in the summer when you don't have to go to school and your parents can handle the fact that you're going, oh my God, that's crazy, 3 days later. I think it's brilliant. Quantum Locked assassins who look like statues until you blink, and that's when they move. It's not nice. It's fundamentally disturbing. Hey Dave, this is a junior version of you. It's my mate Dave. Dave does some of the most amazing voices in video games and all sorts of fun stuff, cartoons and all sorts of crazy stuff. You know, he plays Knuckles. He's Knuckles. It's kind of cool. When you get old enough to play Call of Duty, you'll really find out what he does for it. But I can't wait for you. You can do that. You just got to find yourself a calm week where you don't have to go to school, right? And you can watch The Weeping Angels. I'm telling you now. And you're going to have to hold somebody's hand for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Deal?
Deal.
Nice one. Thank you for your question. Is Casey hiding in the back there somewhere? What's going on? What do you want, my darling?
If you weren't an actor, what would your profession profession back of me?
I'm a musician, so I work as a musician as well. Always have. I've always been a musician. I made scores of albums and toured with loads of people. I opened the Joshua Tree tour at Croke Park in Dublin in 1987. I've been in bands since I was 12 years old. I've been making records since I was 15. I'm 60. Been doing it a long time. I don't know. That's not what defines me. Nothing defines. My job doesn't define me. That's not what it is. It's actually more interesting what I'm not. You know? It's nice to be able to affect change and do things. People, it must be really disconcerting for a lot of you. I mean, you all know, right? You all know I died a bunch of times, right? You all know that's it. So you would imagine, as good, kind, and gentle people, that it's had a profound effect on me. I got to tell you, in a strange way, it hasn't. I'm sober a really long time. I'm sober nearly 35 years. And I've had many, many occurrences in my life that don't make sense. And many, many things that have happened that are nothing short of miraculous. My dad used to say to me, he said, if you fell in the river, you come out with a fucking salmon in your mouth. It's an interesting way of looking at things. I never felt that. But he said, like, you really look at your life, it's been rather extraordinary. I don't do anything by halves, apparently, including dying. And while it is epiphanal in some ways, it was the most anger-inducing moments I've ever had in my life. Because I genuinely felt like I wasn't done. And I hadn't done some of the things I needed to do. Personal things, my family, the things that are important to me. Things that are important to all of us, the things that matter to all of us. I'm literally going, I'm just going to leave a mess, dying right now in my kitchen. I'm screwing over every one of these people. And I can't help that. My PTSD, my trauma is not from dying. I don't have any trauma from dying. I just fall. I had the most incredible EMT, 25-year veteran who saved my life, broke every rule in the book, and got me 6.3 miles in Los Angeles rush hour traffic in 6 minutes. Yeah, it's insane. I had 15 heart stoppages in 2 days, and the 4 at the end are not necessarily related to the 11 at the beginning. The 4 at the end I had in the hospital. I had 30 seconds to live, according to my surgeon, after the 11. And I said, what, 30 seconds before you open me up? He goes, no, you don't have time to open you up. You're done. It's profound. And if nothing else, it means that every one of you assholes whose fathers, uncles, and grandfathers had any form of coronary artery disease or heart disease, get thee to your frickin' doctor and demand a calcium test and an echocardiogram. If I'd have had a $600 gross, I mean it costs about $150 to me, to have an echocardiogram, a full scan, an ultrasound. You know, those of you with kids, no, you've seen the ultrasound of your baby, you have to know what's going on. Now if they'd have done that to my heart, I'd had surgery, I had an EKG, I had checked the electricity going through my heart, no problem at all. I had 100% blockage in my Widowmaker. That took about 20 years to create. For the want of $150 copay. It cost $2 million to keep me alive. It took the resources of 40 or 50 people, not one of whom made a mistake and who I owe my life to. But if any of you hear this and you know that your dads, or your grandfather, or your uncle, or whatever, had this issue, you're idiots. Go to the frickin' doctor. You know, it's bad enough I had skin cancer for 18 months and didn't go, which led to me having a surgery. I mean, I'm an idiot. I'm a surprise idiot. The truth of the matter is, this world is hard enough and tough enough without taking care of our business. When you see what the gift is, when you see what you're leaving behind, when you see what you haven't taken care of, you're not a tough guy not going to the dentist. You're not a tough guy not going to the doctor, right? And worse, you're not a tough guy if you're suffering from mental health disorders and you don't get out. That's the answer. This is a tough, tough life. A lot of people are struggling. A lot of people are having the hardest time they've ever had. It's a different world than 20 years ago. It's a different world than 40 years ago. And if you're hurting, you got to talk. You stay on your own, you sit around, you don't say anything, you're an idiot. And I've seen what I'd leave behind. My trauma comes from seeing my family and not being able to tell them it was going to be okay, I got this. Okay, this might be the last chance I get to talk, ever. It wasn't comforting and it wasn't happy. I was disappointed in myself and I was angry. So if nothing else, check on yourself. If you see somebody else struggling, when did it become uncool to put your hand out and say, can I help you? When did it become uncool? When did we stop doing that? It saves everything. That's what helps. Are you okay? And then not taking yes for an answer. You know? Talk, for God's sakes. I was talking to a gentleman today and I was reminded of what some friend said to me, which was, the mind is a dangerous neighborhood, don't go in there alone. You know? Some of you veterans, some of you also, nobody knows what anybody's carrying, nobody knows what anybody's suffered, nobody knows what trauma's like you've been through, nobody knows that stuff. But if you don't talk about it, it's not going to get better. It's not. It's going to only get worse. And the cost to everybody around you is high. It's really high. They can love you as much as there is, but they can't make you go to the freaking doctor, you know? They can love you as much as there is, but they can't make you go talk to somebody. That's the answer for everything, and that's the change. It's the change I want. So, if anybody's willing, there's some of your kids here, so I can understand if you don't, but hands up anyone who's got a diagnosed mental health disorder. Right, turn around and look behind you with your hand up. Look around. Put your hands down, guys. A lot of the rest of you are either lying or embarrassed. Or haven't been yet, right? But that's the truth. We are all in a different place than we used to be. It used to be we had more communities. It used to be we had more ways of doing this stuff. You understand what I'm saying? I'm seeing this every day. What I love about Supernatural is it pulls people together. It pulls people with like-minded attitudes, and these subjects are about this. They're about this. They're about mental health. They're about sticking together. They're about fighting demons. They're about these amazing things. And I see people coming together here. How many fights do you see at a Supernatural convention? None, right? I mean, anybody here worried about getting robbed in this place? I'm not. You know what I'm saying? That's the point. We can do it, and we do care. Best place in the world to have a panic attack? Convention. You got 150 people you've never met become your best friend instantaneously, and then one of them will go, stand back, give them room. You know, somebody came up and asked me a question. They have anxiety. That's fantastic to me. This is a safe place. Keep it a safe place. But let's grow it. Let's grow this. Let's take this and try to bring this into our communities. Let's just try, because it's important. And the world does make it difficult to do. There's a lot of polarization and a lot of anger and a lot of stuff, but you can break through that stuff. Kindness changes everything. If you're suffering, your obligation is to talk about it. I hate to tell you that. We can't help you if we can't see you, right? We know when you're lying, but if we don't see you, it's a problem. So show up, even when you don't feel good, right? And if you see somebody suffering, your obligation is to put your hand out and say, what can I do? And then you get to feel like a human being when you help. That's the greatest thing in the world. You get to feel good. You get to go, all right, I'm a member of the human race and I'm happy. I have an extraordinary life. I have an extraordinary group of friends. I have an extraordinary journey that I've been on. I love you guys so much, you have no idea. You might think we show up for some cynical reason or whatever, but we show up to see you because we don't have an audience when we're making what we're making. But when we come to a convention, we get our audience. We get to see what we did. And your proof of what we did kind of works, you know? And we're so proud of it. We're proud of you, we're happy. I love high-fiving babies and hearing people's stories and doing those things. I want to thank Casey and everybody for putting a great convention together. It's our tuna. It makes it a little difficult. I'll probably have to eat dinner at some ungodly hour of the night somewhere, but I'm really, really glad to be here. My life would not be the same without you. Thank you for being here. Look after each other. God bless, and thank you for this life.
Mark Shepard, please give him a big hand. I can't think